All right, let's get to fun stuff, Josh.
Okay.
Not dwell on Troy's box ripping. So we are on episode 10, or sorry, 110. So the greatest NHL player to wear number 10, per the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article is Guy Lafleur. One of my favorite names to say it, Lafleur.
I'm really impressed with the photos that you pick for these. That's an awesome photo of Guy.
Yeah, that's a good one. I got another one coming up that's just I
All right.
decided to add another photo halfway through. It's another plain photo. I found the NHL Top 100 has some really good photos, which you'd expect.
Yeah, they do.
And this is, I think, where this one is from. So I'm going to start doing this, even though it's way late before I decided doing this. Runners up at number 10 were Pavel Bure, George Armstrong, and Ron Francis. So not quite as good as number 9 runner-ups, but pretty strong class there. All right, Guy Lafleur, right winger from Thurso, Quebec, Canada. Lafleur was the first overall draft pick by the Montreal Canadiens in the 1971 NHL amateur draft. And Josh, I didn't put this in here, but I was remembering it. Guess who number 2 was? I didn't even know this. It was Marcel Dion.
Oh, wow.
And the Canadiens were going back and forth on who they should, because Dion, I think, was from Quebec too. So it's kind of a little controversy on who they should take, and they took Lafleur. But I guess Dion had the better start to his NHL career, so there's kind of some media backlash. But I think it worked out okay for Montreal with having Lafleur.
Did you come across in your research? I'm just curious if at the time, if Montreal had the number 1 pick, were they like for sure taking a French Canadian?
Oh, I didn't see that, but Lafleur was a stud. He's one of those kids that came up, 200 goal season, and so was Dion. They were both studs. So I don't think you could have went wrong with either one of them.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wonder if it was like, remember how like the Gophers for the first 50 years would only would only give scholarships to Minnesota kids if there was a little kind of French Canadian rule with the Canadians at one point. But somebody can message us and let us know.
For sure. Lafleur played in 1,126 regular season NHL games over a 17-season NHL career. Lafleur began his career playing 14 seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. However, at the end of his 14th season, Lafleur decided to retire. He did not have a good relationship with current head coach and his former line mate and our boy, Jacques Lemaire. And when the Canadiens refused his trade request, he retired. So Jock and him didn't get along as coach-player relationship. Sounds like I think they got along pretty well when they were line mates, but once that dynamic changes, something kind of went awry.
Lafleur didn't want to do the dump and chase?
Yeah, he didn't want to do the Lafleur dump or the Lemieux dump and chase. So he retires. However, after 3 years of retirement, Lafleur made a comeback and then finished his career with 1 season with the New York Rangers, and then he played 2 seasons with the Quebec Nordiques. All right,
3 years off is a long time.
3 years is a long time. And during that time off, I think he actually got inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame too. So that's kind of weird when you get inducted and then come back. All right, he's a Hall of Famer, 5-time Stanley Cup winner, 2-time Hart Trophy winner, 3-time Art Ross Trophy winner, 1-time Conn Smythe winner, 3-time Ted Lindsay Award winner, then the Lester B. Pearson Award, 6-time NHL First All-Star Team selection, named to the NHL's top 100 players list. Number 10 is retired by the Montreal Canadiens. So pretty good list of accomplishments. Over his NHL regular season career, he had 560 goals, 793 assists for 1,353 points.
Okay, I have a comment about the awards. And just a mental note for you, Troy, and for all the listeners, because this is something I really want to know now. We learned, well, I think most people knew that. So the Ted Lindsay is basically the MVP, but voted on by the NHLPA, so the players, where the Hart is voted on by the writers. And so he won the Ted Lindsay 3 times, but only won the Hart twice. I wonder how often that happens, where there's a difference in opinion between the players and the hockey writers.
Well, too, there's such a bias if you allow the right. I mean, I get it. The writers probably should have a vote on something. And I can't remember if GMs are involved in any of these at any point, but if you're let's say, not very nice to media, some of those guys hold it against you. And that's, But the thing, it could be the same thing for the players too. If you're
sure.
a cheap shot like Brad Marchand, do you think a lot of players are going to vote for him for MVP after all the stuff he does? But it's one of those things. All right. Let's see. I forgot where I was. Okay. Lafleur made the playoffs in 14 of his 17 NHL seasons, compiling 58 goals, 76 assists for 134 points in 128 NHL playoff games played. Here comes some fun stuff. Lafleur began his NHL career with 13 straight seasons of 50 or more points. In addition, during the streak, he had 6 straight seasons of 100-plus points.
Wow.
He also had a streak of 6 straight seasons of 50-plus goals, which made him the first NHL player to score at least 50 goals and 100 points in 6 straight seasons. I did not know that. That's crazy. I love finding stuff out like that.
Did you ever watch him play? Do you ever remember him playing?
I don't, but it's going to get pretty crazy when I get to fun facts. Obviously, he had that 3-year retirement. I don't really remember him playing, but there's a little interesting nugget with him that happened in the 91 expansion draft that I'll get to. You'll find it interesting too. Okay, so that's what we got. Best season of Lafleur's NHL career, regular season, from a point standpoint, was a 76-77 season, where he had 56 goals, 80 assists for 136 points in 80 games played. Obviously, Lafleur is one of the most prolific scorers in NHL history. He was also one of the most exciting players to ever play the game. He did the majority of playing for one of the most iconic franchises in the NHL, which I think always helps when you're a stud on a stud team. That means you're pretty good. And the Canadiens have had so many star players for them. But if you want to know how actually good Guy Lafleur was, here's some stuff for you. He's the Montreal Canadiens' all-time leader in regular season points, assists, and single season points. In fact, he holds positions 1 through 6 for single season point totals for the Canadiens. This is stuff I had no clue. I think I did not understand how good he was until I did all this research, and I'm almost embarrassed. I knew he was always great, but I didn't know he was this great. He also has the most 40-goal, 50-goal, and 100-point seasons for the Canadiens in their history. Finally, he leads the Canadiens in game-winning goals in a season and in his career. Oh, yeah, and one last thing. He is tied for the lead with Steve S-H-U-T-T. I'm going to say Shutt or Shoot.
I think it's Shutt.
Yeah, for most goals in a season by a Canadiens player. Lafleur was also known for his tremendous ability to find open ice and weave his way through opponents. I think we've all seen, I've got a picture up. He's got the sweet hair, the flow. I didn't get a really good side picture, but I do remember him a little bit playing and seeing footage of his hair just flying behind him. He was a fantastic skater. He was also known for his tremendous charisma and his ability to put spectators in the seats with his ability and personality. True NHL legend. After hockey, Lafleur worked in various front office roles with teams. He also owned a helicopter transportation company, a brand of fruit juice energy drink called Flower Power, and owned a couple of restaurants. So he definitely stayed busy in retirement. Unfortunately, Guy Lafleur passed away on April 22nd of 2022. He was given a national funeral in Canada, which I think pretty much sums up just how important he was to Canada in the game of hockey. All right, Josh, we got fun, interesting facts. And I can't wait to get to the last one because it just kind of one of those things I was like, what, really? So here we go. Why did Guy Lafleur wear number 10? Lafleur has stated that Jean Beliveau originally asked him to take his number 4. Now, I also found stories where just people were saying he should take number 4. So I'm not sure if Beliveau said it or it was just media members or people thought he should be number 4. But Lafleur said he had second thoughts saying, don't try to be a second Jean Beliveau. Be the first Guy Lafleur. Take a number and make it your own. Kind of pretty cool quote. I like that.
Huh.
His nickname, the Flower, which I read was more known by English-speaking fans because it's a literal translation of his last name. Lafleur, the Flower, is the English version. However, for French fans, he was known as Le Demon Blonde, or the Blonde Demon. In addition, was also known as one of the several players with the Flying Frenchman moniker. So I'm curious if that's true. If French speakers called him Le Demon Blonde, and English were calling him the Flower.
Crazy.
In 1979, Lafleur released the album Lafleur, consisting of Guy Lafleur reciting hockey instructions accompanied by disco music. Please tell me someone has this. I need to hear it. I didn't look it up, so maybe it's probably out there on YouTube or something. But I
think we have new intro music, Trey.
I have to hear this. All right, Josh, here's the last fun fact. This just kind of it blows my mind a little bit. The Minnesota North Stars actually selected Lafleur with the final pick in the 1991 expansion draft. However, Lafleur decided to retire, so we never got to see Lafleur in a North Stars jersey. I had no clue. I'm no confused. Clue that happened.
Why were the North Stars picking in an expansion draft in 91?
That's what I think. I think all the teams maybe somehow were involved, because it wasn't there. Was that when like San Jose and maybe Panthers?
But usually, like when a new team comes, they take your players. You don't.
Yeah. So I don't. That's what I read. Maybe I misread, but that's what I got, because I remember staring at that for a long time. It was Wikipedia, crazy. So you never know. It could be Wikipedia playing games on me.
Why isn't he regarded more in the hobby, especially? Like, you look at his accomplishments, Troy.
Yeah.
5-time Stanley Cup winner, multiple Hart Trophy, 3-time Art Ross, 560 goals. You know, he's just not in that Lemieux, Gretzky, Howe, or category.
Probably just the era he played, and
maybe
I know his autograph's not hard to find. You can get it if you want. I know I got a stature card of him last year because I wanted an auto of Guy Lafleur, and stature I like, so that was one I went with. But yeah, that's a good question. Definitely.
Was it expensive?
No, it wasn't expensive at all. I mean, less than maybe 50 to 100, somewhere in there. For a numbered card too, it's like out of maybe 25 or 50, somewhere in there.
Okay.
All right. So that's Lafleur. So his rookie card, we've talked about this card a lot on our show. It's one of Josh's favorite. 1971-72 OPC number 148. Now, Josh, did you ever notice this? I didn't really notice this. It's got his name is wrong.
Yeah.
It's got the LA and then space Lafleur, and it's actually one word. So Lafleur.
Yeah.
And I like that. It took me a little bit to find the slab in PSA and to find pop counts, because it's listed as this, not under his like the LA no space. So I just had to realize that, and then I finally found it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they just match whatever's printed on the card.
Yep. So obviously the PSA 10, which this is a 9, I'm showing on screen if you're watching on YouTube. The PSA 10 copy of this card is a pop of 6. All-time record sale I could find via Card Ladder was $31,801 US via Golden on August 6th of 2022. And just to give you a little indication, a PSA 9, which has a pop of 56, cards sold via eBay on August 13th of this year for $4,750. So that's kind of your 10 and 9, and then kind of work your way down if you want to get a graded copy below a PSA 9. Great looking card.
I'm still baffled why he's not in higher esteem, because I didn't even throw in the whole Montreal Canadiens factor into that too. That's just wild to me. But hey, you can get a very, very, very great player for not a lot of money, especially too, because, and I haven't looked this up, but I would assume that aside from the 71 OPG, that all the other cards in his career are pretty inexpensive.
So Josh, I'm doubting myself. I went back to, now this is Wikipedia again. It does say the North Stars selected him in the 91 expansion draft.
Okay. So
I'm sure there's something the San Jose. Oh, hold on. This is great. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole.
1 hour later.
Yeah, dispersal draft took place to fill the roster of the league's only expansion team, the San Jose Sharks. First from the North Stars pool of players, and then from the rest of the NHL. To restock the North Stars rosters and to fill out the Sharks roster.
Why did we get? Wait a minute.
Why are we so close? Is this when we were leaving? Did we leave? And who knows? Obviously I didn't follow the North Stars as close as I thought I did.
Okay.
All right. Someone will tell us that we're idiots and what's going on. But
somebody will for sure tell us we're idiots. We do every day. Good report, Troy. It was awesome to learn a little bit more about Guy Lafleur. And can't wait for number 11.